the last few years, yes, we've noticed a definite change. I think San Francisco is becoming more gentrified, and we're seeing that reflected in the students who come here as well. Overall, I think the caliber of students coming here has risen. We've also had a pretty sizable percentage of students who have really recently just immigrated from other countries to the United States, and they're still in the process of learning English.
People from my hometown would like to come here because they already have friends or relatives are here. So, I mean, it's just easier for them to just adapt to a new place, so that's why they come here. In my culture, like, tutoring is a big part of our life. If you don't get help or you don't have a tutor, like, they would think somehow you're behind or you're not, like, get ahead. So that's just like, I guess it's like just part of the culture,
Our middle school was mainly like the majority of the people were also Asian, so we kind of grew up being surrounded by kind of Asian morals and Asian parents around us. Both of my parents didn't really get an education, so they kind of expect more out of us. So they think school is not really it doesn't prepare us enough. So they think extra tutoring or teachers can kind of enhance our learning.
Education is extremely important to at least the people who come here, but it's just part of the culture and the tradition. And I think a lot of the tutoring centers like ours are run by people who are from the same parts of the world or even same parts of the country. In other words, a lot of Chinese will come here and they will open tutoring centers. And there are other multinational companies that do the same, or even national companies that do the same. And you could argue that in the sense that we're simply meeting demand. You could also say that they do bring the culture with them.
My parents do not have a large source of income to rely on. Spend a lot of our income on just surviving, and those little bits would be used toward kind of helping the children kind of better themselves. My parents didn't have very college education. They don't know a lot of the material that I am learning, mainly because of the language difference. What a lot of immigrant families want from their children is to have a better life, and having a better life means to have a higher education than what they have. In order to achieve that higher education, they need some sort of help or guidance.
Tutoring started in 1994 when I was actually taking the SHSAT, which is a specialized high school entrance exam for admission to New York City's specialized high schools. My father, who was a high school math teacher at the time and a high school dean at the time, had been our founder of Tutoring. There has been a debate, to say the least, in New York City about the diversity at the top high schools. The thing about New York City is that we have 1.1 million students attending New York City public schools anywhere from grade K through 12. The fact that we have 1.1 million students, that's out of a population of 8 million. And that's students from the lowest income brackets all the way to some of the wealthiest families that live in New York. And to serve that range of income level and that range of ethnic diversity is a big challenge for the New York City school system in itself. So what you'll see a lot of the time is that in some of our poorest districts, there is a lot of neglect, and it's a big challenge to find the resources to serve every district equally. The number one barrier that we've noticed to tackle is the lack of awareness in underrepresented communities. Immigrant communities oftentimes have a slight advantage over families that have been here for generations. And it's that when a family comes over from whatever part of the world, they tend to move and live in the same neighborhood as folks from that part of the world. So those are some ways that immigrant communities are finding out about specialized high school resources early on. When you compare that to minority communities that have been here for generations, oftentimes that messaging, what schools should be doing as far as informing students of those opportunities a lot earlier, they're not getting the message until maybe 1 month before the application process. And by then it's too little too late. We had a team of anywhere from 4 to 5 people for weeks on end, visiting junior high schools, emailing their principal, their guidance counselor, to their parent-teacher coordinators, all three. We went over and physically handed copies. But the effort made by the schools, by several schools, to get the applications in the hands of their top African American Latino students, that effort just wasn't there. This past year we had about, after visits to 20 junior high schools, we only had 150 applicants. And from those 150 applicants, a lot of them, a vast majority of them were from the charter school network. So it goes to show that charter schools have the designated staff middle leaders in place who are able to get this information to their students and get them to apply on time. For public schools, it's pretty much a non-priority for them until results come in or an election comes and it becomes politicized. The biggest thing we've seen is that it's the immigrant dream. So you don't have to be an Asian person from Korea, China, or Nepal, or from Bangladesh or Pakistan or India. Every single New York City immigrant group that's showed up before us has figured out that your local schools are not going to be able to take care of you. I have to figure out the formula to get into the best schools that will take care of you. And there's always been this talk, it's anecdotal, oh, don't go to those schools, those are for those kids. And we're trying to abolish those stereotypes and abolish those, that type of backwards thinking, especially in a place like New York where you have fantastic top students from all ethnicities.
Hey NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.